All right, everyone. So look what we have here. This is a cathedral, and it's named St. John's Church. And that is because that is the church that I grew up in. And I wanted to have a church on the layout for many reasons, one of which is I remember driving when I was young, not literally me driving, but being in a car, going past the cityscape, and you would always see the church or churches on the hillsides with those tall steeples. It's rearing its head. And that always stuck with me, even to this day when I'm out driving. That always brings about fond memories. And of course, always nearby, you could find the railroad. So that is one of my reasons for this, as well as the fond memories and the great people that I had an opportunity to fellowship in my younger days at this particular church. Now, the church I grew up in looked nothing like this. It was a small church. Matter of fact, it was called the Little Red Church. And this is not little and it's not red, but the sentiment is there. And so it was a combination of two efforts to add something to the layout that would be meaningful. So this building was constructed by Alan Graziano on the OGR forum. He does wonderful work. And I want to say this was probably his first cathedral. I've commissioned him on a couple occasions to build things that he's actually never built before, but it speaks to his talent and his willingness to try something different. And I'm really, really happy with this. So I'm going to kind of take the camera off of the tripod and show you a bit of the rest of the building. Of course, it's a cathedral, and it's been, as we always do, it's been compressed, not only because of the available real estate I have on the layout, but also to really, really make a cathedral in O scale. You would need a really nice amount of space, but he has nicely compressed it. And I've already sat it in the space that's waiting for it, and it looks great there. So let me shut up and take it off the camera off the tripod, and you can see a little bit more of this. So here's the side, and you notice there are different colors, and we want it to represent a church that is went through some development over the years. And this kind of represents that red that I was telling you about. I also wanted this feature behind the church. I love to see these behind the church. This is the area up in the front of the church, typically where you have the statue of Christ or the baptismal fount, those types of things. And the detail there, I wanted this type of roof as well, this tile roof. You can see that Alan did a good job with the stained glass. Of course, the church is going to be lit. The building measures about 14 by 14 inches. And like I said, there's a nice spot for it on the layout. Here's a little bit of the roof detail. This nice patina color. Here's a look at the left side of the church. Got a side entrance here. More of the wonderful stained glass work. And I forgot to have this set up, but this is the base, the foundation for the church. It's about an inch high. And we've got the steps. I've actually started to do some modifications on this. That's why I forgot to have it in the introductory part of the video. All right, so typically when I get something back from Alan, most of this stuff could just go on the layout just as is. He does such great work. But I always try to add my little 2 cents or effort to whatever he sends me. Many times it simply involves weathering or something like that, maybe painting something, but adding a level of detail that I want to add just to make it my own and say I have contributed to the project. So in this case, there's essentially three things that I'd like to do. The very first thing is I want to weather the building. So I want to make it look a little bit more used and affected by the elements. And that'll be the entire body of the building. So I'll use, some washes and some powders to accomplish this. At least that's the goal. And then the other thing I'd like to do is with the roof, as I mentioned earlier, the patina color, just to make that look a little bit more authentic, take some of the shine away. It'll involve some of the same efforts as well as another technique that I learned and have not done yet, but we'll do some experimenting and see what happens. And I've already started the process in the front here on the stairs where I take those through the concrete treatment. So that's the three things I want to do as I prepare for my open house. And I think that is a realistic goal, as it's just a matter of sitting down and concentrating on the work. So I'm going to go ahead and get things masked off, and we're going to get this process started. All right, everyone, I just wanted to show you this not so interesting segment, basically the masking of the windows before the transformation begins. Very happy with my masking job, even though it's probably not all that important to you. But what I've learned is that a good masking job is at least 70 to 80% of the battle. So now we'll take this out to the garage and get the dull coat on it so that we have a surface that all of the weathering that I'm going to do will stick to it, and then we'll begin the process. All right, I have a habit of skipping steps, and I wanted you to see what I did with the powders and pan pastels to weather the building and take that shine away and just make the brickwork a little bit more convincing. I hope that you're not dizzy, but I think these powders and pan pastels really help to take that plasticky look away. And so I tend to overdo it because in the next step, I'm going to put a matte coat on it, and it tends to take some of it away. So I may even have to come back. I want to show you the front as well. Nothing has been done to the roof at this point. All right, so here's a look at the front of the building. And I was playing around with this a little bit more for obvious reasons. It's in the front. And one thing I found I needed to do to kind of get the look I was looking for is to go darker. I think darker in miniature gives that illusion of realism, at least as it applies to this. So once again, let's see how much of this comes off or disappears when I put the finish on it. Okay, I'm out here getting the roof together. So I've started putting this bronze color paint on. Paint by Modern Masters. And definitely make a transformation. I'm gonna match these two roofs, this one here as well as the main roof. So, rainy day outside. All right, YouTube, here we are back with the 95% completed church. So got the patina going. As you can see, a bit of the steeples there. And I'll show you the roof in just a moment, but I did go ahead and dull coat the entire building, as I told you earlier, and use some powders from Monroe and also, I believe, from Bragdon to make the building a little aged, a little weathered. Didn't want to overdo it, but the church has been there for years, and we just wanted to replicate that particular look. So let me go ahead and take it off of the tripod so you can see what's going on with the roof. Okay, here's a look at the roof close up. I'm actually pretty happy with how it's turned out. I did also come up here with some dark powders as well. Let's move around. A little bit of grime at the bottom of the steeple where it runs down and collects. There's a look at the side right there. I don't have the base on yet. When I put the building in its permanent location, I'll go ahead and add that. So yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. It gives a little bit more realistic look versus the plastic look that I believe it had before. We also went ahead and added the lighting in, so you'll be able to see those beautiful stained glass windows reflected once I get that going. So the next thing is to get this building in place and get it set up for the open house. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you haven't already done so, please like the video with that thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. But as always, this has been Dave, also known as Loving Them Trains. And until next time, later, y'all.